guys, welcome back to another video on the channel, and in today's video I'm going to be doing my round 5 AFL tips and predictions for the next round. So yeah, we just came off gather round and that was brilliant. That was successful for the AFL, and yeah, it was a really good round, some really good games, and yeah, exciting moments. So yeah, let's get into it. First we'll go through my round 4 tips on screen. As you can see, I've gotten every single one correct. Melbourne there, I tipped Melbourne to win. As they outclassed the Crows. They played really well. The Crows just couldn't get a grip really. They just couldn't kick straight, and when they got their opportunities, they just couldn't put it on the scoreboard. And the D's really just capitalised on it, and they won the game and gather round, and starting with a really good they started gather round with a bang. So yeah, Melbourne did good there. Tipped Brisbane in that to win against North Melbourne. It was a pretty easy tip in the end. Brisbane smashed North by 70 points. The Lions, yeah, the forward line there got some form into them. Hipwood finally gotten some goal kicking form, and he managed to put it on the board. Carlton was really good as well. He kicked 3 goals, I'm pretty sure, and Danaher was too good and kicked 5. And yeah, North, they just couldn't really get their hands on the ball. When they did, they just turned it over, and Brisbane just put them on the and Brisbane just capitalised on them. They got 70 inside 50s though and kicked 16-16. I think the goal kicking, I think the set shots can use a bit of work from the Lions though. But yeah, anyways, got them right. Then we got Port Adelaide smashed Essendon by 69 points. Ended up being a very easy tip in the end, but I don't know, at the time I was really controversial between the two to see which one to tip, but Port just outclassed them. Connor Rosie, the young new captain after Tom Jonas has retired, but he was so good. He just could not be stopped. He's outclassed in the midfield, and and Port were able to put it on the board. So yeah, they did well. Essendon, I don't know what went wrong for them. They just played horrible footy. Ben Mackay was the only player that could really save the Bombers from getting beaten by more. But yeah, Port won in the end. Then it wasn't the easiest tip. At the time it looked like it was going to be a very easy tip, but it ended up being a pretty good game. Sydney prevailed in the end by 26 points. They played really good in the Adelaide Hills. West Coast had played had some really positive signs, but yeah, they ended up losing in the end by 26, and Sydney won. So yeah, next, this is a really hard game to tip. Freo and Carlton. Carlton got over in the end, controversially. A lot of people saying they were robbed. In my opinion, they kind of were. Fremantle, but yeah, they played a really good game. Goals were very hard to come by, and it was just a really scrubby game, and no team could really get the goal kicking on. But Carlton failed in the end by 10 points. And this one as well was it was a toss up between this one as well, as the Bulldogs lost by 5 to the Cats. I tipped the Cats, and they got over the line by 4. So yeah, the Cats played well. The Bulldogs came back firing in the end, but they couldn't get the job done. GWS ended up outclassing Gold Coast by 28. Suns played some good positive signs. It was very goal after goal up till the last quarter when the Giants ended up winning in the end. Then I tipped St Kilda. They didn't play very well. They were goalless in the first quarter. In the first half they were struggling to get a goal, but they got the goal in the end, and they ended up kicking and playing better, and they won by 7 points. And Collingwood and Hawthorn, the Jack Ginnivan showdown, I think, as he moved to the Hawks and the Pies, and he's won by 5, and the Pies hang on by 5 points. What a thrilling game it was. The Hawks came back, and they just played brilliantly. So yeah, that was brilliant gather round it was. So yeah, now we'll get on to the tips for this week. So on the Thursday night, we start off with a ripping blockbuster on the Thursday night between Melbourne and my Brisbane Lions. Now this one, based off the Brisbane Lions form, it looks like Melbourne are going to get up easily, but I think differently. We played good against North Melbourne. Hopefully that sparked us. I know it's North Melbourne, but hopefully that can spark us to play some good footy. We played pretty good footy against Collingwood, but the umpires robbed us there, in my opinion, and a lot of the Lions fans' opinion, and a lot of people's opinion. But the umpires were just terrible that night. We played some good footy, but overall, it would have been a lot closer if the umpires didn't rig it, but I reckon the Collingwoods still would have won there. But we played some decent footy against them, and then the Freo was horrible, and then we choked against Carlton in the first round. But here, I think the Lions could pull an upset. They're definitely capable of doing it. we haven't won at the MCG since 2022 against Melbourne in the semi-final. But the last time we versed Melbourne in Melbourne was round 18 last year, where we pulled off another choker, surprise, surprise, and we lost by 1 point. But I think the Lions can finally break that hoodoo at the MCG, and we can pull up a nice win to get our season up and going again. That'll be a great response to the Lions to get up there. I know it sounds biased as a Lions fan, but I'm gonna say Carlton. I'm gonna say Brisbane get up here tonight, on Thursday night, and I reckon they're gonna get up by 17 points. And a big call is that Melbourne will play good. And I'm gonna say Christian Petrarca records 35 plus disposals. On the Friday night at Marvel Stadium, we've got the Western Bulldogs taking on the Essendon Bombers, and now the Bulldogs, they've started off their season pretty good. I think they've only recorded one loss, and that was to Melbourne in round one. But yeah, the Bulldogs, they've been playing some good footy. They just couldn't get the job done against the Cats. They could have won that, but yeah, the Cats were too strong in that one. But the Bombers have played horrible against Port. They lost by 69 points. They played some pretty decent footy up until then. They beat the Hawks, and they also did a nice comeback win over St Kilda in round 3. But here I don't really see the Bombers winning this at all, and I'm gonna go the Bulldogs to win it. But I reckon it'll be a little bit closer. I'm gonna say the Bulldogs get up by 20 points. But I reckon it's gonna be a bit closer than people think. But I just don't see the Bombers getting up in it. The Bonten's been good so far, and it's just been all clicking together for the Dogs so far. So I'm going to go Bulldogs by 20 points. On the Saturday afternoon at Monaco Oval, we've got the GWS Giants taking on St Kilda. And they're coming out of gather round. The Giants look spectacular, beating Gold Coast quite comfortably. Toby Green just looks so good. Tom Green looks really good. Stephen Cornelio. The list just keeps going on for Giants. And for St Kilda, they're coming off a not so very convincing win against Richmond. They just couldn't kick a goal in the first quarter. Couldn't kick a goal up till half time. They just kicked very inaccurately. Got the win just in the end. Were too good for the Tigers. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised in this game if St Kilda to go up a good fight for the Giants. But I reckon the Giants will just prevail too good in the end. They're just looking extra dangerous this season, especially after that heartbreaking prelim loss against Collingwood. And yeah, I'm going to say the Giants win by 18 points here, but I reckon it'll be a good game. So yeah, Giants by 18, I reckon. Second game on the Saturday afternoon, we've got the Carlton Footy Club taking on the Adelaide Crows at Marvel Stadium. And now Carlton, they've been ripper. They've been so good so far. They're currently they're actually they're 5-0. They're 5-0. They haven't lost a game this season. They're coming off a very controversial win over Fremantle in Adelaide. But the Adelaide Crows, they've been shocking. They're now 0-4, and they could go 0-5. They're in very dangerous state of 0-5. Matty Nix is in a very tight position at the moment in coaching them. But I reckon, once again, I can't see the Crows winning this one. I think Carlton will go too strong. I'll give them credit and say that they'll be strong, and it'll be a pretty close one for most of the game. But I reckon Carlton will run away with it. And I'm gonna say Charlie Curnow and Harry Mackay have a big day out over the Adelaide back line, and they both combined for 10 goals. But yeah, I'm gonna go Carlton to win this one. I reckon they'll get up. I reckon they'll get up to 15 points at Marvel. But so I reckon Carlton will go 6 wins in a row to get their season started, and I reckon Adelaide will go 0-5 for them. So yeah. The first of the Saturday night games, we got the Gold Coast Suns taking on Hawthorn. Now, the Suns have been pretty poor, to say the least, the last couple of weeks. They just haven't been able to pick up a win. Damien Hardwick, he's been one of the best coaches Gold Coast have ever had so far. They just haven't been able to string wins together. They came off a reasonably poor loss, but they gave a very good effort in losing GWS. And the week before that, they lost to, I can't remember, but and Hawthorn, they're in a rebuilding phase. They haven't been doing good this year. They haven't done well last year, and they've been able to string together really close to really upsetting some sides. Like they almost beat Collingwood last week, and Hawthorn though. But I reckon it'll be a close game though between the two sides. Gold Coast obviously at their home ground. People First Stadium, Metricon is their old name, and Heritage Bank, but it's called People First Stadium now. They have a very good. I think they're going to start turning it into a fortress like what Brisbane have done to the Gabba and what Geelong have done to GMHBA. They're turning it into a real fortress. I reckon they can get some really good. If they get like a good home crowd, I reckon it really like pulsate them to get them to string a couple wins together at home. But honestly, I reckon the Suns will bounce back in this one. I'm going to say they do it. They're going to win by 16 points. The Hawks will give it a good on go. I reckon they'll lead. I think they get out to a high leads of 20 points Hawthorn, but I reckon Gold Coast will come back strong and come back and get a bounce back win and head into the next round with a win. So yeah, I'm going to say the Suns win it by 18 points, and so yeah. The second of the Saturday night games, we got Port Adelaide taking on Fremantle at the Adelaide Oval. And in this one, yeah, Fremantle coming off a tough loss to Carlton, controversially, as you know, by 10 points. And Port obviously thrashing Essendon at Adelaide Oval. In this one, it can be a good game, but it also I can only see it going two ways, really. Either it's going to be a close Port win, or it will be a comfortable Port win. But yeah, I'm going to go in the middle of that, really. I'm going to say Port get the job done. I'm going to say Port get it done by 26 points. I reckon Freo, they're good, but I reckon the Port will be too strong. They got their home army of their Port fans, and they play good at Adelaide Oval. Rosie has been performing brilliantly. He's obviously almost at Brownlow, if not at Brownlow peak at the moment in his performance. Yeah, they haven't really put a foot wrong so far, Port. But yeah, I expect them to win this, but I don't know. Freo is good. They can come out and pull up the upset, but I think Port will just be too strong here. I'm going to say Port will win it by 26. They kick off to Sunday with a Sunday afternoon clash between Geelong and North Melbourne. Now, this one is a pretty simple tip. I think Geelong are going to win. I think Geelong are going to outclass them. It's just a matter of how much margin they'll win by. Geelong are coming off a pretty decent win against West Bulldogs by holding on by 4 points in the end. They were too strong for West Bulldogs in the end. And North are coming off a huge loss to Lions in Norwood. Yeah, they just couldn't get their hands around the footy, and when they did, obviously turnover and Lions punished them. So yeah, in this one, North are just coming off bad form. They just don't have a back line at the moment. Their only positive at the moment is Nick Larkey, and obviously one player can't carry an entire team. But yeah, North, they just have a lot of rebuilding to do, and they'll get their first win, but not this time around. I'm going to say Geelong pick up the win. I'm going to say they win by 75 points in a thrashing contest. Yeah, so yeah. To round out round 5, we have West Coast taking on Richmond at Optus Stadium. Now this one, West Coast coming off a pretty encouraging 26-point loss in the Eagles' standards there by 26 points by Sydney. Last time they versed Sydney, they got smashed by 171 points at the SCG there. But they prevailed and were able to make it a closer game for most of the time, but Sydney ran away with it at the end, unfortunately for West Coast. But West Coast have looked good. Richmond obviously just falling short to St Kilda after dominating basically the entire game till St Kilda came back there. But yeah, this one, it could go either way really. West Coast have been playing well, but they seem to give it away in the last quarter. So in this one, I'm gonna go Richmond. They're not gonna thrash them in any means, but I'm gonna go Richmond by 15 points. I reckon West Coast will actually lead most of the game, and Richmond will just come back late and get this and steal the win from the Eagles. But positive signs coming up for Eagles. I reckon they'll get their first win pretty soon, based off their form. They're just in that rebuilding stage. I can tell in the next couple of years or so, Eagles are going to be death for every team. They're going to be super dangerous. But in this one, I'm going to say Tigers get it by 15. But so yeah, that's all my tips for round 5. So that's the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. That'd mean a lot to me. These are my tips for round 5. So hopefully I do well. Obviously coming off good form with the every tip correct, 9 out of 9 for round 4. But yeah, hope you have a great day, and thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one. See you later.